guys. So I'm going to attempt to do a Tropico 6 Let's Play, because there seems to be a lot of people who are having trouble with this game, especially on consoles, because they've patched so many things since the initial release. I have failed this game so many times and tried to find information about it and just could not find any information about the console version at all, and so I had to figure out a lot of stuff by myself. I did figure out a few different guides from PC players that gave me a few really good tips, so we're going to attempt to do this. Now I say attempt because this might shut down on me. They had a bug that they patched yesterday or the day before, and it used to blue screen you just randomly in the middle of your game, and especially if you were loading up your game. So I don't know if I'm even going to be able to load up my game, but I imagine since they patched this stuff, we're good on the blue screen thing. They said that specifically, that you shouldn't have blue screen issues now, so we'll try it. This is the map I'm going to do. I like this map. I've only done it once, and again, it blue screened on me before I could get to Cold War. So we're going to try it again, and I'm trying it on these settings. You can do whatever settings you want. These are the settings that are fun for me. This isn't a guide to show you, like, these are the hardest settings. Now, I think these would work on the hardest settings because I've gotten to be pretty successful at this to the point where I can make a lot of money pretty quickly. So we'll see what happens here, and hopefully we'll be able to play the whole thing through. So yeah, my point is this will probably work on difficult settings too, but just for the sake of getting through the game, showing you guys like cool little tips and tricks on how to make money properly, because even if you place buildings wrong, this game is definitely the hardest Tropico I've ever played. If you place something in the wrong place and people can't get to it or access it efficiently, then you're screwed. I tend to play on a pretty slow speed. I tend to just play normal speed, so if you ever want to fast forward through and just see what's going on, you can do that. For now, what I like to do is reset up my entire situation to how I sort of want it to be. I'm going to put my palace there, and we'll just unpause so it can build it. The first thing that I do is demolish pretty much everything I can. You can't demolish your Teamster or construction office until you've built another one, so we can't do that yet. Oops. Okay. And then we're going to let those demolish, and then the first thing I do is get my plantations going. And I'll show you guys a really neat kind of trick that a lot of people do to make farming more efficient. Okay, so we've cleared out mostly everything we can. Whoops! Didn't mean to clear that road out. Roads are a disaster in this game, just like they are in every other game. You can make them do pretty much what you want, but you have to learn how roads work because they glitch out all the time. Okay, so now that we've done that, we're going to go to plantations. We're going to... Oh, it pauses automatically. Duh. Okay, let's take a look at the fertility. So the first thing that you want to do is check the fertility of all your crops to see where you're going to grow things, because the preference is to grow them all in one area, if you can. Not every map lets you do that, mind you. But if you can, it's a lot better to put them all in one place, and I'll show you why. So, I want different crop types. I don't want like sugar, 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 sugar all in a line. I want different crop types. And again, I'm going to show you exactly why we do this. But this is the way that can make your plantations really efficient. Okay, so we already have corn. Banana will be a problem over there. So let's do banana. And then we have corn, banana, pineapple. What about tobacco? That's not going to grow that well there. Here's coffee. Cotton I'm not a huge fan of right now. So let's do... What about cocoa? Would cocoa do? If cocoa doesn't... Yeah, alright, let's do cocoa. Whoops, okay, so... tobacco, the most important plantations for colonial era, in my opinion, are sugar for sure, coffee, and tobacco. You do need a plantation of pineapple, banana, and corn just to feed your population, I think, and to give them a different, just different variety in their food. So, that's good enough. Oh, wait, did it say efficiency 77%? I wonder why that would be. Alright, so we're going to let them build a few of these. Now, as far as how many plantations you want, that's sort of up to you, but how I do it is I try, and I'm going to try and do this now, is to get 3 sugar plantations if I can. And 2 tobacco, 2 coffee would be really good too. So, we've got the essentials. Now we want to expand a little bit on those essentials. So I would say more sugar. Now where's the nearest sugar one? Yeah, sugar's going to be all around, so that's okay. And this is sort of a painstaking process to get your plantations set up, but if you set them up this way, you're going to be like cruising. So I know it's taking a long time, but this is important to set it up correctly. Yeah, I don't have coffee at all yet because I put sugar there. So tobacco, banana, cocoa, okay. Yep. Whoops. Plantation, we'll do coffee. We could do coffee either place, so we'll do it here. Actually, because tobacco's up here and I want to diversify the crops as much as possible, again, I know this doesn't make sense right now, but it will very shortly. As soon as I set this up, I'm going to show you why I set this up with like crops in different places. I would definitely prefer to make like 4 sugar plantations just in a row. It's much more organized and you can keep track of it better that way, but it's not really the most efficient way to do it in this game. This will be tobacco. Okay, so we've got pretty much what we want. Now, what I would like is a sugar. I mean, what I would like is 1 cotton, 1 more cocoa. Where would cocoa be? Okay, okay. Yeah, so we'll do 1 more cocoa. We will do 1 cotton. And so we've got 2 tobacco and 3 sugar, which is what I was looking to do. So for now, that's okay. Now we've got this whole big space over here that just to make it uniform. What about another cocoa? So we can do 2 cocoa for now. That should work. Is there anything else I want? Corn, banana, pineapple, sugar, tobacco, coffee, cotton. I don't do rubber yet. Okay. Cool. Then you got to make the road system. Always start your roads. See, I made a mistake right here. You always want to start your roads 1 out. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to attach them. See how I say they glitch out on you like this? If you do this, and you build the road out to here, then it's fine. You can do whatever you want. I'll do this because I'm going to do it anyway. So just be careful when you build your roads. You can make roads do what you want, and I'm a big time like road perfectionist. Oops, just messed that up. So it's just, if you don't care about roads, whatever. Oh my gosh. If you don't care about roads, then whatever. But roads definitely equal efficiency. And efficiency, what I learned from a lot of PC players that I watched, is efficiency is like the key. That's what you're going for. Happiness and all that stuff with your population can come later. But right now, you have to make sure your economy is on track. And so don't pay attention to housing or any of that stuff at the beginning. No entertainment. All that stuff just drags money out of your bank account, which is fine. You need people to be happy. You need people to have housing, but not when you don't have the money to support it. It's sort of like what they say about if you're going to help other people, make sure that you are in a good situation to help people and not drowning yourself.
It's nice to have choices,
in the meantime.
isn't it? Choices like
okay, so this is a demand from the Crown. If you guys are unfamiliar with this game, yeah. If you guys are unfamiliar with this game, you start in the colonial time, and so instead of elections, you have a mandate. If you look on the bottom left, above my play button, you'll see 5 years, 7 months. That's how much time I have left before the Crown ousts me out of my position here, and you lose the game. To stop that from happening, you fulfill demands from the Crown. Like this one. This one I'm not going to do, though, because it says fulfill, and make sure you read these carefully, fulfill an import trade route. I don't want to do an import trade route because it costs me money to import goods. A lot of people do import goods. I'm not a fan of importing goods. I'm a fan of keeping my money and making the goods myself. So we're going to discard that even though it's -5 to the Crown. I don't recommend usually doing that, especially at the beginning of the game when you're trying to establish a relationship with the Crown. I wouldn't recommend doing that. But for now, I don't want to do an import route, so we're not going to do that. That up here. Okay, so once all of these are done, I'm going to pause again, and we're going to show you why we did this in this crazy-ass way. If you'll count, I've got about 12 farms here. I have exactly 12 farms. I would recommend starting with 12. 12 is a perfect number. Some people say 14 farms. I think that's too many. I start with a population of 200 people because I want my stuff to be populated immediately. What you'll notice a lot of people do is they just come into each farm, and if there are any vacant positions, they'll just hire foreign workers. I think like you can do it that way if you want, but then why not just start with 200 population so that they're getting there immediately instead of wasting your money on foreign workers coming in. That is an option though. If these positions aren't filling up, you can always click on them to hire a foreign worker. Right now it only says fire worker because it's fully staffed. But if there was an open position here, you could hire a worker from out of the country to come in and work there.
How much to pay in bribes.
So these are the revolutionaries. So in colonial times, you have two different factions. You've got the revolutionaries and the royalists. It's just like America was when they first started out. So the revolutionaries are in it to get independence. So eventually, you want to be a revolutionary supporter. I would do exactly what they ask, unless it's just totally out of the question. So we will accept building them a tavern. We're not going to do that quite yet. I messed up on a road again because I'm not paying attention. And we almost have all of our farms up. So as soon as we have all our farms up, I'm going to show you what we do. Make some good roadage here. Now, the other thing I want to move while we're working at it, this is really one of the only things I quick build, at least early in the game. But put those a little too close, didn't I? So we're going to have to do that and take out a little bit. That's okay, though. You're not going to let me put that road there either, huh? Why is that? Okay, well, we'll leave that road for now. That's fine. Quick build both of these. Now, why do I build all these roads, like, in multiple directions like this? Well, because the more grids you can do and the more roads you have, the less problem you'll have later. It's not such a big deal right now because they're all in wheelbarrows. But when they go into cars, you can get traffic buildup. I wonder if I can do a little bridge and then attach by the bridge. Nope, not going to let me do that. Oh, well. You're going to have to go around, guys. Sorry. So now we've quick built those. We can demolish these. Another thing you should do, up the budgets on everything. And go into, so when you're in the construction office, you have all these tabs at the top right. Statistics, upgrades, efficiency. So go to the upgrades and you want to click more hands. Also, if you click X on this, it's just going to do it for this building. Click square and it will upgrade all buildings of this type with more hands. So we're going to do that, and then this building has it too already. So more hands gives them 4 added job positions. That's huge. Now your stuff's going to get built immediately. And I found, man, through pretty much all the times, you can keep 2 construction offices. You might want to build a third eventually.
It's nice to have choices, isn't it? Choices like continue as governor or begin a new career in manual labor.
So the Crown is now asking me to fulfill an export trade route. That I can do. Those are my favorite. So let's go to the trade screen. This is probably a good time to set that up. And here are the 4 windows. Now to go over these windows real quick, this is the export and import trade screen. So this is where you can see anything that has a red arrow like that is an export route. Most of the export routes, all of them right now, are for the Crown only. Then these green arrows and green flags are rebels. This is all importing. The green arrow means import on the left, and the red arrow means export. I sort them by import-export because I only export. So exporting is how you make all your money. It's how you're going to survive in this game and become a successful dictator. So this is one of the most important screens you can see. For now, we've got coffee. We're going to, and you see how you can do different amounts. For now, when you start, you always want to do the lower amounts to establish a relationship with them. Every time you finish a route, you get, see, on signing contract, you get plus 10, but on completion, you get another plus 10. This would take forever to get 8,000 coffee right now, but 400 coffee, we can immediately get plus 5 relation with the Crown. So we want our relationship with the Crown to be as good as possible. So we're gonna, I'm gonna take fish because we're gonna build one, and I'll purchase the route. And for now, we'll just do those 2. So the next one are your active trade routes. So this is where you can see what your trade routes are doing. Obviously, they're not doing anything because we just got them. But you can buy more licenses here so you can trade more. I recommend at the beginning, it depends on how much money you have. I started out with 200,000, but I would get at least 4 trade routes. If you have more money, maybe get 5 or 6 even. But for now, we'll start out with 4. And so we've got 2 available if we want to start exporting something else. This screen I'll go into later, but this goes into prices of your exports and which goods are being exported. And we'll get into that in a little bit because you don't necessarily want to export all your goods. Whoops. And the last screen, completed trade route. So this will just show you when you've completed a trade route and what it is. That's helpful if you want to renew a trade route. You can figure out which one that you last completed. Okay, all of our farms except this one are built. Of course, I could quick build it, but I'm an idiot. I'll just speed up the time here. Okay. So, all the farms are here. They're all diverse. They're all functioning. Now let's go into their modes and take a look. First of all, efficiency is based on a lot of things. Efficiency, like I said, is the most important thing. So you can see efficiency here is at 100%. Now, if you up the budget, which again I recommend you do on every building, you'll see it goes up to 125% right off the bat there. But that's not all. Why did we have all of these together and diverse? Because you change this mode. Monoculture means it's going to operate at 100%, it's going to be on the default settings, but it's going to degrade your soil over time. So eventually they won't be able to farm here anymore because it's going to degrade all the soil. If you do multiculture mode, read this carefully. It decreases your efficiency by 40% automatically. And we did say efficiency is the most important thing here. But the plantation does not decrease the fertility over time. This will never decrease its fertility. You can have this farm forever. And, more importantly, the plantation gets 10% efficiency for other plantations in the vicinity of it with a different crop running. So, if you have just all sugar, then changing this to multiculture is not going to do anything. But because we have different crops running all in the same area, we're going to change them all to multicultural mode. And just to give you an idea, let's look at some of the efficiencies. So 124%, 125%, 125%, 125%, 125%, 125%, okay, 119%. So they're all pretty much at the same spot. If we change them to multiculture, now let's see what happens. 145%. 135, 145, 134, 125. So your crops are either staying the same, or in most cases, they're going up. And that is because there are so many farms near them that are also running multiculture that the 40% decrease doesn't matter anymore. That 40% you have gotten back and more in efficiency, and your crops are never going to deteriorate. That is a huge tip that you can take with you that will help you get through at least up till to the Cold War era, because you never have to replace these farms. So the next thing we want to do, now that you guys get that, is start building Teamsters offices. These are hugely important. Now, where do you build Teamsters offices? There is a big debate on where you build Teamsters offices. So this might be a heavy, hot topic, but most people build them near the docks, like this. Some people build them near all of their industries. I build them sort of in between, but I'll tell you, where I most value putting these Teamsters offices is near where your housing is going to be. Why is that? Because if you understand the human behavior of the game, it makes a lot of sense why Teamsters offices should be near their home. People get up in the morning and they go to work. So they need to be close to their work. When they're done with work at night, they either go home or they go to a local bar, tavern, club, and then go home. So having Teamsters offices near their home, they're coming home from work and they're leaving home to go to work. That is the most efficient to me out of any place that you can put them. I'm going to have my housing over here. I already know that. So, since I already know I'm going to have my housing here, I'm going to start putting Teamsters offices in lines here, so they just have to walk over here to work. That's all they got to do. You guys can put the Teamsters offices wherever you want. Some people swear by putting them by industry because that's where they're going to drop off the goods. That doesn't make any sense to me. They still have to go pick up the goods, so they're going to have to walk all the way to where the industry is, get to their work, drive to get the goods, come back and deliver the goods, and then they go back to their Teamster office anyway, and then home. So just understanding the routes really helps. Now we can delete this. While I'm doing that, I also start just to have an extra route and some more exports. I build one fishery. Okay. And then I'm going to build a road going out here to connect. Yeah. I guess that's fine. We're going to have this go out. This always needs to go one extra. Okay. So we'll let them get to work on that. They've already built all the Teamsters offices. Now, Teamsters offices, this is another good conversation. So, again, make the budget max. By the way, I should make my dock budget max. If you make your dock budget max, it not only increases efficiency, but the boats move faster. The boats literally move faster to get here. So, making your dock's budget highest is a must. Teamsters. So you want the budget highest so they move, but then you can make them move a little bit better. We can't add a second shift until the World Wars. But you can go to their work mode and loose load limit. So it says increases the capacity of Teamsters by 50%. They can carry 50% more goods. And they might lose up to 10% of their freight. They might. So this is an absolute must in my opinion. And I clicked square on that, so every one of them is running in loose load limit mode right now. Okay, my fishery is done. Fisheries, you can't do anything in work modes right now, but just keep an eye on that in future time periods, because you can fish a lot more fish in different times. But you can add a fishing dredge, which in addition to fish, they harvest shellfish. So that's cool. We'll definitely do that. Now that we've got all of this sort of up and running, we want to start diversifying a little bit. So we've got crops. This is a good idea to talk about industry now. So this is basically all of your goods: logs, coconuts, fish, crops, livestock. So this is all resources. This one is industry. This is turning resources into something. So for instance, a lumber mill takes logs from the logging camp and turns them into planks. Planks sell for a lot more. One of the secrets of Tropico is industry. The more you can have industry and turn resources into industrial goods, the more successful you're going to be and the more money you're going to make. So a rum distillery. This is why I have 3 sugar plantations. Because I love rum. So do most people in this game. It's pretty easy to see why. Rum is just a big, big time export. It's a lot of money in the colonial period. It's probably the most money. And it's very easy to do. So I usually build 2 of them. At least right now. So this is going to change our sugar into rum. And then let's see if there is a rum export route. There is not right now. In 8 months, I'm going to get new routes, it says. For now, I got to just sort of do little stuff. I'm not going to give them sugar, because again, remember, I'm taking sugar and producing it into rum. So I don't want to give them my sugar. For now, we'll just do these 3, and that's going to be that. These are not great routes right now, but again, we're trying to build up industry so we have great routes. So we're going to build those. Then the next thing I like to do is either logging camps, if you want, or ranches. One of the 2. Both are really important. Logging camps are important long term, like very long term, through the whole game because of what you can use logs to make. For now, though, I'm going to do ranches. This seems like a good spot for cattle, a good spot for sheep. Pretty good spot for crocs too. I could put a pigs here. Llama for wool. I don't care about that right now. And milk, that's just not going to work at all. Okay. So I can't even put 1, right? Well, 76% efficiency. We'll see. So with crops, or ranches, what do I like to do? People do different things with these because they make different stuff. See, some things make 2 things, meat and hides. Sheep make wool and milk. The thing is, that's great, and you should do that, but they're slower on making each one because they make 2. See, cattle make meat and hides, while pigs only make meat. So pigs are going to get you a little bit more meat than cattle would. That being said, it's not enough to make me go for it. What I really like are crocodiles. Why? Because they already are leather. If you look at cattle, they make meat and hides. Well, hides you can take to what is called a tannery, and the tannery will turn it into leather. Or you can just have leather. So to me, it's kind of a stupid decision. It's an easy decision to just do 2 croc farms right off the bat. If you're not gonna do anything else, just do 2 crocodile farms and you got leather pouring out of your earlobes. Sheep. Cattle. We will do on cattle. Maybe. Pigs I'm going to do for the meat. Sheep make wool and milk. So, I'm going to go ahead and do 1 cattle, 2 sheep. And that's going to be it. Wool I don't care about right now. Maybe down the line, but sheep are already making that. And milk, so that's fine. Goats make milk too, but milk's not that profitable right now, and I don't care that much about it. So we're leaving llama and goats out. We'll just do these 4. These don't really matter where you put them. I put them all in a row, and I'll show you why. These can degrade the soil too, just like these can. But also, just like plantations, ranches have a work mode that stops the soil from degrading. So, what I want to do here, something like this. It's no joke that, like, Teamsters offices are, like, the backbone of your economy. You need a lot of them. I usually start with 4, and by the time I've got my, like, ranches and logging camps up, I'm making 6, which is why I'm doing 2 more right now. Just get ahead of it. Do it. Okay, these are getting done. That's sweet. So what do these do? The rum distilleries, they're empty in stock right now, but now the Teamsters are going to go get sugar, and they're going to deliver it here to make rum instead of here to the dock. Now, real quick, if you go to your trade screen, what you're going to see is this, the goods and prices screen. This is what I told you is, like, it tells you the prices of goods. This screen is not super important until you get to a point where you don't want to export something anymore. So sugar. We don't want to export sugar because we need it to make rum. So you unclick... what just happened there? Okay, I don't know why it reorganized it, but it unclicked it. So you get the idea, and it keeps reorganizing. Probably because it thinks... These are the little bugs that you deal with this game, especially on console. They just haven't worked out all the bugs yet. Okay, I have no idea why they keep switching that, but there's sugar. It's unchecked, so they're not going to export sugar anymore. That is huge. So we'll just get all sugar coming to here to produce rum. Now, as far as work mode, you can supply the local market if you want, but your output is decreased by 25%. Again, I care about people, and that's great, but any economy starts out, if you really want to care about people and you want to take care of them, you need money. So I wouldn't do this right now. The efficiency of each tavern and cocktail bar is increased by 10%. That's fine because that means people will stay there less amount of time. You want people staying at entertainment buildings as little as possible so that they're working. But it's not worth it to give up some of your rum. So this just told me automatically I have a completed trade route, and it automatically pops up the screen, which is really annoying. If you don't want that to happen, you can click this tab, which I'm going to do. We'll just keep an eye on it. So coffee has been completed. So now I don't have that trade route anymore. I gotta go get another one. But all the trade routes are terrible. So in 5 months we'll get more. We are going to be making milk, so let's just get a little bit of that going.
I must say I'm glad to be still working with you. Finding good help is so difficult these days.
So remember, he said fulfill an export trade route. I did. Coffee's done, so we fulfilled that. So that means now we can extend our mandate by 18 months or get $2,000. $2,000 is nothing. It's not going to. It'll get you like a farm or 2. So to me, that's a waste of money unless you really absolutely need it, and if you're like going into debt. The mandate is huge because if you run out of your mandate, I'm down to 4 years and 5 months. You can see at the bottom left. So if I run out of time, I lose the game. It's game over. You can't go back. You have to start over if you didn't save. So we're going to extend the mandate by 18 months. I always recommend doing that. Now, we were talking about rum distilleries, so let's put them all on max budget for efficiency. We're sticking on genuine export blend, and then go to the upgrades, and they have dunder stills. These are very expensive, $5,000, but it decreases your sugar consumption by 25%. So we're going to click square on that and give it to both rum distilleries. $10,000 out of our pocket right there. Now, while they're building some of these ranches, let's go over another screen. So we've gone over trade. You guys are familiar a little bit with the construction screen by watching me. This is an era outline. We can go into that, but it's not that big a deal. Selecting your president, not a big deal either.
Genius is undeniable, Presidente, but
these are little guidance tasks. You don't get any reward or anything for completing them. This is just sort of him telling you, like, hey, your unemployment rate, you might want to decrease to 7%. I'm going to deactivate the guidance tasks. If you're new to the game, these are good because, like, they help you go, like, what do I do now? Where am I supposed to build, or what am I supposed to do? Now it helps you do that. I'm also going to start building this a little bit. I'll explain what this is in a little bit, but we're going to have housing over here. So overlays, these can be cool because they can show you what is your pollution like. You can see, like, pollution's a little bad towards the industries. It's getting in the yellow. Electricity, we don't have it. Crime safety. There's not a lot of crime safety, and especially near the dock, it's getting a little more dangerous. So this just goes into every overlay, and you can do anything from beauty, soil degradation, all your crops, all of your resources and where they are, all mineral resources. How much oil you have. I have none. Wow. Didn't know that about this island. Fish, where all your fish are. So overlays are kind of cool to help you get a feel of what's going on your island. The almanac, this is the most important screen in the almanac. I mean, look at all of these screens. Now, the more you can get into these screens, the more healthy your economy usually is, because you're watching, like, what is my revenue the last 12 months versus my expenses? What is my Swiss bank account doing? Overall happiness. So, like, there's so many screens about politics, the faction leaders. I encourage you guys to get comfortable with these screens one by one. I'm not going to go into all of them right now because there's too much. But it gives you pretty much any information that you want to have about your society. What I would say is this is the most important screen. You can see all of your happiness levels. Fun is the lowest right now. That's why it has that fun thing there. But you can see all the levels of your happiness and your healthcare, your jobs, everything. I don't care much about this right now, but we will. Unemployed citizens. This is huge. You click on this and it takes you right to the screen. You want to make sure you don't have vacant jobs. If you have vacant jobs and no unemployed, then that means you built way too fast and you don't have enough people on your island to support your jobs. So all of this is really important stuff to just keep an eye on. Most importantly, unemployed citizens, homeless citizens, yeah, we got 257 because I don't have houses right now. We'll fix that. Your relationship with the crown, rebel threat, and the faction standings, your highest and your lowest. So this is, if you're not going to look at any of these other screens or you want to learn these screens slowly, just keep an eye on this screen and use this screen to help you go to where you want to see what's going on. Homeless families, it'll even tell me I have 42 poor homeless families, 60 well-off families, and 2 rich families that are homeless. So, like, you can see whatever you want, and again, the more you can learn about those screens, the better, but it is overwhelming at first. So farms. Humane exploit is the natural default mode, which will degrade the soil. Pasture prohibition. The ranch does not decrease the fertility of the soil in its vicinity, but it decreases the efficiency by 15%. Now, I'm going against my own rule here. Efficiency, efficiency, efficiency. It's always the key. But for this, I consider having my farms, my ranches for a long time, more efficient than losing just 15%. So we're going to do that on all of them. Manure fertilizer is only an upgrade that you can get in the cattle ranches. So this increases the efficiency of nearby plantations and hydroponic plantations by 10%. It does not stack, so only do it once. You'd think that because both of these...
does not feel quite right, Governor.
No, we'll get into that in a second. Because both of these plantations are in the circle, you'd think it's giving it to both of them. And I'll give it $500 anyway, just to see. But yeah, it was 125 before, it's 125 now. It has to... See how this is in blue? It's like highlighted in blue. For this to work, those have to be highlighted in blue, those plantations. Since neither are highlighted in blue, I know that this isn't really doing anything. But whatever. Sheep don't have any upgrades right now. Crocs do. Chainmail gloves. This just increases the job quality by 10, so I always do it on both of my things. Nothing for pigs. And then pineapples, the only upgrade you can get for your farms right now are on pineapples. Where are my pineapples? Tobacco, banana, corn, sugar. Do I not have pineapple? Did I mess that up? I do not have pineapple. Okay. So maybe instead of 2 cocos right next to each other, I could make this into a pineapple.
More.
I will build a logging camp, you're right. So that was a demand from the Crown to build a logging camp. I'm definitely going to do that. I know I still need to build a tavern for them, but I just don't care right now. Cocoa. So you can just go down here. You don't need to demolish it. You can just change the resource. Let's see what changing this to pineapple will do. Great. It's perfectly green. This will increase our efficiency too because it's a different crop type. Do I want 2 cocoa? I do, but I don't need 2 cocoa, so it's not that big a deal. We will up the budge. So this is the only one that has an upgrade. Increases efficiency on nearby pineapple plantations by 3%. I don't have another pineapple plantation, so no thanks. We might as well do roads through these and, whoops, get all of those shacks out of there. They'll just relocate them. Shacks only disappear when you have enough housing for people. You can demolish them if you want, but they'll just pop them back up in a different place. Okay, so these are all on humane exploit now, so we're going to change them to pasture prohibition. Boom. Now the soil quality won't degrade, but see efficiencies at 81%, 83%, 77%, 72%. That's fine. It's not a big deal. Now, since we've got hides, we don't have a lot of hides, but we have some. Remember, hides get transferred into leather. But they're making 680 hides. We might as well use them. So we're going to make another industry. And again, focus heavily on the industry screen, especially, well, in every era. But when you're starting out, especially to get yourself a good foot in the door. There's only 3 industries in the colonial period. I recommend having them all eventually. So sugar creates rum. Create sugar first, then create a rum distillery. A tannery takes hides from cattle and creates leather. So, like I said, crocs already produce leather, which is why I like crocodiles so much. But we do have 1 cattle ranch, so we'll be able to have a tannery that will get hides. I also want to go to my trade screen and make sure I'm not exporting hides anymore. So it's doing it because I sorted by auto export instead of by name. That's why. Yep, okay. My fault. Okay, so now sugar and hides. I'm also just, while I'm here, where are logs? I'm just going to take out logs because I'm going to use logs to make planks. So when I do that, I'm not gonna want to export my logs anyway. We're looking good there. Now, what I do want to do, I'm gonna start on my. This is personal preference stuff too. I create a little strip mall near my palace. It's just like sort of what I do, and I put like a bunch of parks in here and stuff. This is a personal preference thing. What we are going to do is go away from industry for a minute and go to the library. I'm going to build the library. You want to build, there's two things that don't have to do with industry that you want to build as quickly as you can once you've got industry going like this. And that is a library so that you can do research. This is the research screen. We haven't gone into that yet. But research, you can research all different types of things in each era. In this era, there's not a lot to research, but there are a few cool things. If you see an orange scroll on the top right of the picture, that means this is an edict. Edicts are laws that you can pass. So you have to research them though. So I have to research Employee of the Month, and then once it's researched, I can enact it as a law if I want to. The green suitcase pictures at the top right on the circus and the library are different work modes for those buildings. So these are work modes: loose load limit, safe load limit. This is a work mode: better safe than sorry, ignore safety regulations. So if I research the library's work mode, I'll have an option of changing its work mode to something else, something cool, hopefully. So we're going to research a few different things right now. Just get them in the queue, get them ready. Employee of the Month is the most important one in this era because employees of mines and industrial buildings, any industrial buildings, work double shifts as long as this edict is active. Only costs you $350 a month for people to work double in industrial buildings, the things that get you the most money. Yes, absolutely. This is the edict screen where you can actually pass laws. Again, each era has different laws you can pass. This one only has a few. Food for the people, which they're going to consume 2 units of food. No thanks. No free lunch, which is sort of the opposite. They pay $1 whenever they take food. Mandatory siesta, which increases the job quality of each workplace but decreases the efficiency by 12%. It also decreases pollution. I do like mandatory siesta. I don't love it because of the efficiency decrease. So I usually keep it off. If you need a boost in your ratings so that people don't hate you so much, you can do the mandatory siesta and it'll give you a little boost. Urban development is a hugely important law when you're building housing. Decreases construction costs of all residential buildings by 50%. So if you're going to do a big housing project and put a bunch of apartments, complexes, houses down, you want to do this first. It costs $7,500, but you enact this law first, and then for the next 5 years, every house you build is 50% off. You'll recoup your $7,500 and more if you're going to be doing a housing project. So urban development, make sure you always enact that if you're going to start building a lot of houses, which we will soon here. Tannery. Huh. That's interesting. I'm going to do that. That's a lot. I mean, increase the efficiency by 50%. That is a huge increase in efficiency. It's a big increase in upkeep and pollution, too. I don't really love that, but the efficiency is so good that we're going to try it. Can't do any upgrades on that building. They're full budget. Okay. Everywhere at this point should be full budget. Is it just a shack? They build my library. So I said there's 2 buildings that are important to build early on that don't have to do with industry. One is the library. The second is the Pirate Cove. I like to build my Pirate Cove in a little out-of-the-way spot, just so they can do questionable things without people seeing them. There we go. Perfect. Okay. They're almost done with that. Now, you won't need to worry about this much in this time period, but you're going to have to worry about it a lot in others. You'll see down at the bottom of that little window, the library window, the job quality is 60, and then below that, education required, high school. There are different educational levels in this game: uneducated, high school, college. So if you're in the colonial era, it's mostly uneducated jobs. Uneducated, 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 uneducated. So it's not a big problem. But when you go into like world wars and stuff, you're going to get more buildings that require high school educated workers. And so you'll need to either have a high school or you'll need to be attracting high school educated people. There's also a little trick to getting around that I will show you if you want to use it. If you don't, that's fine. So we're making a pretty good amount of money. I mean, you see at the top left, our freighter just left with 51 grand. That is probably because of rum. Let's check our trade routes now. Oh, we don't even have rum going out. So now, see how it says plus 20% above standard? Now that I have a good relationship with the Crown, they're offering me more money for trade routes. That is pretty cool. So now instead of doing these like 150 or 900 contracts, I'm going to start doing big time contracts with these guys. So that you make more money, you get more relations, and now you don't need these routes to go as quickly as you did in the beginning. I'm going to buy more trade routes too. I'm going to upgrade to 6. I'm going to export a bunch of coffee. We could even export pineapple. I'm not going to export a bunch of pineapple because I only have one farm. In fact, we'll just do a small one. And I want pineapple to be for local consumption too. Planks. I'm gonna not do that yet. Maybe I should take it, but I'm not gonna, because we don't have any logging camp shit up yet. We will soon, though. Okay, so now that this is open and these people are in here, it's just automatically going to start generating research points, knowledge points. It goes very slowly, so I wouldn't sit here and watch this screen. Okay, our Pirate Cove is up. Yay! We'll make sure their efficiency is good. Can't do that. So, what do? Well, they go on raids for you. They're sort of like your Special Forces unit, and you get a different Special Forces team in every era. For this era, it's pirates. Their work mode, I'd keep it under Black Sails. On a Dead Man's Chest is appealing. The duration of missions is decreased by 50%. That's a lot. But raiders have a chance of 20% to die on the mission. You might actually lose people. I don't know. I think all the time about going on to Dead Man's Chest, and maybe I should. Let's see. Let's try it and see. Let's see how many raiders we actually lose. I don't love losing population and then having to replace them. But that's okay. We'll try it and see what happens. So from here you can open the raid screen, or you can just go into your wheel and go into the pirate flag and open it that way. Much easier. Don't worry about the commando, the spy, the cyber operations. All this isn't available. Pirates is all we're interested in. And this is what they can do. You can send them to loot things for you, so if you want more supplies, they'll get you like, I don't know, probably close to 1,000 of each of these. Coffee, corn, gold, coconut, sugar, wool. So if you want loot, I tend to not use them for those, but some people do. If you need population of people, you can rescue anyone and they'll just come back with whatever. You can rescue educated people, or you can rescue many, which will be mostly uneducated and a few educated. So if you're having a population problem and you need to fill vacant jobs, start sending your pirates out on rescuing people. And as you can see, you can add it to the queue, or you can add it to the queue and set to repeat. So you don't even need to come back to the screen. They'll just keep going out as soon as they can. They do need what's called raid points, which is generated just like your knowledge is generated. As long as pirates are there, it'll start generating raid points. So you need raid points to do a raid, but they generate them pretty quickly, so they'll be going in and out a lot. Treasure hunts are really good to do. They'll either get you a blueprint, which is awesome. Blueprints are... Sorry, we're going into a lot, but... Blueprints are this. So I can't build a guard tower because it's got that blue sign. I have to buy the blueprint first for 1,000, and then I can build the guard tower. So this is kind of cool because on a treasure hunt you have a possibility to get a blueprint, so you don't have to pay for it. That's cool. Then you can just build the building you want without paying for the blueprint. You can also get a possibility of 5,000 raid points. That's cool because then they can just go right back out on a raid if they need to. Or you have the possibility of just getting 10 grand immediately into your account. So again, if you're having money problems, just keep these guys on treasure hunt the whole time. And then heists. So this is important. These are heists for famous landmarks and wonders around the world, and they take a long time for the pirates to do. I recommend doing these, though, because they're not just for looks. They give you things. Important upgrades that you can't get anywhere else, like Stonehenge. Make trees grow around the monument. So if you want to really go nuts on your logging, get one of these, place them, and place logging camps all around it, and they'll never run out of logs. Ever. They'll just constantly be chopping down trees, and they'll keep regrowing. Citizens cannot have die-hard political views anymore if you're having trouble with approval rating. Prevent citizens from dying of bad health care if your health care is down in the dumps, which in the colonial time, your health care really cannot be good. There's only one way to increase health care in the colonial times, and it's not a very good increase. This one, all children automatically gain a high school education. This is the most important one, for sure. That doesn't mean they won't take uneducated jobs if they're available. It just means you'll have a lot of high school educated workers, so if there's high school buildings that have vacant people, they'll get filled right away. If you don't have that, you're going to have a long process of educating your people. So highly recommend doing that one. Which maybe... I didn't even set them on a raid. Let's just do that now. Let's send them on this. It requires 5,000 raid points, so they'll start producing raid points, and then they'll go out as soon as they can. So, the Pirates Cove, the library, 2 non-industrial things I suggest building first to get you on the right track. My goal right now is to stay above 100,000. If I stay above 100,000, I'm going to keep building. If I don't, I'm going to probably keep building, but I want to know what's going on there then. Logs. So, yeah, I have a little bit of familiarity with this map. This is really the only place to get logs. And last time I put this here... the people sort of glitched out the last time I put this here. We'll see if they do again. But what they did was the people got employed here, but for some reason they didn't use the bridges, so they went all the way around here, around all of these trees. I even like zoomed all the way in and watched them walk the whole way back to these till they got to these logging camps. I couldn't believe it, and it really took a long time, and it cost me a lot of money. It's stuff like that about this game, little tiny things like that, that can affect your money big time. Alright. I put 4 logging camps. That might be overboard, honestly. But planks are a big deal. They just are. If you ever watch YouTube videos from PC players or console players or whatever, they're all going to tell you that logs are a big industry throughout most of the times. So it's just important to get them going. And just again, grids make travel so much easier. So, I always try and do grids. Now, could I quick build these for $375? Yeah, I could. Oh, just another little tip. If you've got like 6 construction projects, but you want one completed first, just prioritize one as high. They all start on normal. You can make it low. I don't know why you'd do that. But if you want a building to be done before the others, just make it high priority.
Well, you did the right thing, which is what...
Thank you. How are our trade routes? So we completed pineapple pretty quickly. Shellfish, milk, rum, tobacco. Meat goes for a good amount. See how pineapple only goes for like 1,600 per standard unit, and the route's only 1,900. You want to look at the prices. Meat's going for 23. So if I only have one route left over, I'm going to do the highest money-making routes I can. And as you can see, shellfish 2,800, milk 2,200, rum 9,200 per 1K unit standard, and the route's 11 100,000. 2,100, 3,800, 2,300. So rum, like, is your business. It's how you're going to make money. At least in this time period. So, we're creating another industry. And as you can see, I create one industry at a time. My ranches. Or, my farms. My ranches. My logging. Okay? And then while you do this, you create little things you need. Teamsters. Pirate Cove. Roads. Library. Now, we're getting to the point, after we do lumber, that we can start focusing on our people. We're consistently staying over 100,000, and we're consistently getting really good revenue from our dock. So, we can start focusing on housing and some things that the people need. As you can see, I haven't focused on the people at all. And at the top left, you'll see your approval, you'll see your money, how many people you have, and your current approval rating. I have $123,000, I have 283 people, and I have 82%, well, 81%, 82%, from doing nothing for the people. All just doing industry, and they all live in shacks. That's why they tell you, if you really want to help your people and you want to make a great society, start by not focusing on them at all. Do not focus on your people. Later, once you have your economy stabilized and you've got money coming in, focus on your people all you want. But for now, you have to do it this way. And one YouTuber made a great point. No country has ever succeeded in history by just focusing on its people first and saying, like, let's give away everything for free and just all help each other out and we'll be good. There's been societies where you trade and they have different types of economy and different ways of doing it, but economy always comes before the people, because that's how you help the people. Just something to keep in mind. I don't love this. This little box above it means it's empty in stock. It's not getting enough, and it's not getting enough for a very obvious reason. I have one cattle ranch and it can only put out so much. Oh, it also needs to be on a bigger budget. Why aren't these... Did I not put the budgets up on these? Whoopsie. Yeah, I didn't. Now they're all at 100%. So see, like, even doing pasture prohibition and decreasing the efficiency by 15%, well, just up their budget. And then now they're back at 100%. So, and they'll never degrade the soil. So I just think that's a better way to go about it. All of our logging camps are up now. See, what are they doing? Are they going around again? Let's see. You can go to each individual person, and they've all got a screen, like where they live, where their workplace is. It's incredible what activity they're doing. They're on their way. So position. He's on his way to the logging camp. Okay, well let's see where you are. Sweet. So he's on his way to the logging camp, but look where he's going. Look at this.
More, Governor.
They're not
more.
using the...
Always more. Hop
this
to
is
it.
one I don't do.
The crown demands.
So one of these is have a dungeon, and I'll do that one. But this one is have a dungeon and arrest revolutionary Tropicans. I don't like arresting revolutionaries because I'm going to need their support. And I think the arrest revolutionary thing is a little bugged. My friend arrested like 12 revolutionaries because none of them were being arrested, so he just kept arresting people. None of them were ever arrested, and he lost the game because his mandate ran out and he couldn't fulfill this. So I'm just not going to do it. I don't know if they fixed it or not, but I'm not going to do it. Anyway, we were looking over here. So you're going to notice... oh, now he's walking back? Weird. So it seems like they're doing the same exact thing that they were doing last time. I'm not going to get logs for a while because these people have to walk all the way for some reason around here to get here. Once they get here, I think they're fine. But getting here, they usually go all the way around. All right. might even speed this up. So we're on ×4 speed right now. You'll see things are moving a lot quicker. I don't like playing on this speed because I like sort of the genuine feel of the game. Even the pacing of the game I like. It's kind of slow, but I like that. Alright, so where are these peeps?
More, Governor, more.
A coconut harvester. Fine. I'm not a fan of coconuts because 2 reasons. One, they don't give you a lot of money at all. I can't. There's no coconuts here. And 2, they don't replenish the trees. These guys are on take and give. You can have them clear the woods, but they default on take and give, which is for every felled tree they plant a sapling. Coconuts don't do that. They just take your coconut trees till they're done. So, but I can't do that, dude. So I gotta abandon it. Sorry. Now, would I be upset usually about abandoning it and getting -5 standing towards the Royalists? Yeah. But the Royalists and I are on good standing. So you can see the Crown greater than 100 standing. So the reason for that is because every time you fulfill a trade route, you're getting standing with them. So as long as you keep fulfilling trade routes, they're going to love you. Leather. I will definitely give you leather. That's awesome. Your success also is predicated on your trade routes. If you have good trade routes, you're making a fortune, and then if those trade routes run out, you're not. So let's see real quick if we can find these guys. Seems like they're having major troubles finding their way. There's one, there's one, there's one, there's one, there's one. So here's all the frickin' loggers. Look at this. Why? And so it's little glitches like this that they're not game-breaking by any means, but this is going to cost me a lot of money. I have 4 logging camps with serious upkeep, and none of them are doing anything because all of these people are trying to get there. That's why I'm just speeding up the game. We'll let them get all the way here. And our economy is stable enough right now that I'm not too afraid of speeding things up. But see, this is the first guy to get.
Life at sea is never boring, except when shipworms bore through the hull.
Okay, so deliver planks to Pirate Cove. So this is because we're stealing that that raid I put them on, where we're stealing that World Wonder. They always come back to you and say, like, hey, we need some stuff from you because we're having trouble getting this World Wonder back. So they're asking for planks. I have no choice but to accept. That's fine. We're not going to get any planks for a while because nobody's actually making logs. But they will. They're coming.
Excuse me, old sport. I need a teens...
I will fulfill an export with you. Okay, so here they come. Finally made it. That guy's running fast.
Well, you did the right thing, which...
Thank you. And see, like, when you start getting on a roll, your mandate's not a problem. I mean, I can get up to 8-9 years on my mandate, and you're eventually going to declare your own independence. So... Oh my god, all these people. So when you declare independence, you'll have plenty of time left, but just keep an eye on it. If you don't, and you don't export trade routes and fulfill those quickly, then you can get low on your mandate. And I've had friends lose because of mandate before. Okay,
it's nice
so everyone
to have
made
choices, isn't it? A choice is like...
Yeah, fulfill trade route. Okay, so we're going to go back to the normal thing. Alright, I'm up to $200,000, so we can build a tavern. So why did I have this empty square right here of 3 spaces? Because this is going to be a little strip mall of activities. It's close to their work, it's close to the Teamsters, it's kind of close to the industry, and it's going to be right next to all of their homes. Now, I needed this road originally, so they could build this. Okay, so we're building them one of those, and just because for personal preference for me, I'm going to build a little thing out there. Okay, now they need places to live. These shacks are getting old. So, people live close to where they work. That's just a rule. If you build a house here, then people who live or work near like these plantations, these Teamsters offices, even like maybe a few of these places will automatically move in. So it's really nice to have places.
Marginally glorious, but with your continuous support, Governor, the people will make it shine.
Okay, so we built a tavern and the Revolutionaries approved. The Revolutionaries offer you either $2,000, which I never recommend taking unless you absolutely need to. Well, Siri wants to talk to me. Then 10 revolutionary immigrants, or get a random blueprint. Getting a random blueprint is kind of cool because, again, you have to pay for those blueprints to build certain buildings, and this will just unlock one. But if you need support from the revolutionaries, which I do right now because we're trying to declare independence, then if you get 10 revolutionary immigrants, they come in and they automatically support you because they're already revolutionaries. They're not unaffiliated or a royalist. So we're going to do 10 revolutionaries, and I usually recommend that starting out. Not always, but usually. And then we're going to start on housing. So, edicts. Remember I said urban development. If you're going to do a housing project, let's get this going. Housing. Be very attentive on the housing. Country house. Low quality residential building for 2 households. This only gives you 2. And tenants must be well off or better. So anybody who is poor, let's go to the almanac. So anybody who is poor, 7 families, or broke, 1 family, cannot live in those country houses. Only well-off, rich, or filthy rich, which I have none of. Now, most of my population's well-off because I pay them well. If you don't up your budgets on all of your buildings, you're going to have mostly poor people. But since I up my budgets, we have mostly well-off people. So with housing, just keep an eye on that, the different levels, because poor people cannot move into these, or broke. Now, bunkhouses are 6 households, and the tenants must be at least poor. So this doesn't mean well-off people won't live here. It just means they have to be at least poor. So broke people cannot live here, at least to start off. I'll show you how broke people actually can live here. But what they're telling you right now is this is 6 households and you have to be at least poor. So because this is the most efficient way to do it right now, I'm going to build a lot of these. You can change the way they look and their variations. I like this one for a more town feel. 3, 4. And then I go back to back on them. 1, 2, 3, 4. You do not need a road between these, unless you're like me and like aesthetics. Then you can build a road. Okay, so housing, entertainment, work. See how that goes? If somebody lives here and they're in a Teamsters office, they work right here. They go right here, and they're off to work. If a Teamsters office is here near the industrial buildings or the docks, which is what a lot of people say you should do, then my guys are walking all the way to here just to get to work, to start going around collecting supplies. Then when they're done, they go back to work and they walk all the way either to the bar or home. That just doesn't seem very efficient to me. Maybe I'm missing something there, but that doesn't seem like it's worth it. I don't like that, so one of the issues could be not enough Teamsters offices. Probably not, but let's build another one just in case. Oh, and I didn't put these on loose load limit either, or a higher budget, so that's been affecting me. Yeah, make sure you keep an eye on all that kind of stuff. Extend the mandate. So as we get homes going in here, we're starting to get like a much more stable, what looks like an actual economy. Now, I think I'm going to be able to do this. If I can't, it's easy enough to delete roads. But we're going to do it like this. So this can be for housing, like for uneducated, plantations, ranches, teamsters. Then this is the fancy strip, and this is where I'm going to put government buildings, high entertainment tourism spots, stuff like that, secret government stuff I'm going to put back here. So, you know, the more you play, the more you'll sort of plan out what you want personally and what the different eras bring to the table, because...
Set sail for booty,
Okay, cool. We delivered 1,200 planks to them. Because as you go through the eras, you're going to realize, like, oh yeah, in the World Wars era, I remember I got to put, like, a bunch of stuff right here, so I got to make sure I have room for that. And then, like, in the Cold War, we got to make sure we demolish this and then put a bigger building up there and have room for that. So, like, the more you play, the more you'll know how you want to lay things out. But this is how I lay it out, and it's pretty good for me. In industry near the docks, we will make another dock eventually. I usually already do. But we don't need one right now. There's no real need. We could build one maybe out here one day. And again, like just try and lay it out as efficiently as possible. Like, logs go to planks, planks go to dock. Sugar goes to rum distillery if they had any. Rum goes to dock. Like, just try and make it as streamlined as possible, because that will affect your funds. Trust me. Ranches, cattle ranch to tannery to make leather, leather to the dock. Okay. I always put the tavern on all you can drink. Why? It decreases job quality. I don't care. Because I'm going to give them max budget anyway. So this increases job quality. You can see job quality is at 40 right now. Now it's at 50. So if I decrease it by 25% or 20%, fine, but efficiency is increased by 25%. What is efficiency in an entertainment building? All it means is they're going to drink here for less time. They'll come, they'll drink, they'll leave. That's what you want them to do, so they get home, they sleep, and they go back to work. You need people working. We'd ever get back to Tropico. Oh, they're back. That's too bad. I wanted to show you the pirate ship. Okay, cool. So you can only do one world wonder per era. So we can kidnap another one in a different era. But for now, we've kidnapped the only one we can, which is this one. When you're ready to build it, and I'm not yet, you go to this World Wonder screen and see, I can build it for 10 grand, and it'll just like automatically put it where I want. Well, I guess there's no harm in building it right now. Whatever. Let's put it somewhere out of the way for now. This will be a tourist attraction eventually. And this is not like a regular building. They don't build it. They just bring it in. So this, remember, what this means is anybody who's born here will just have a high school education now. That is a gigantic deal. Safe load. Turns into loose load. So what's going on with my rum distilleries? They clearly don't have enough sugar. Sugar has 330 there. So you want to identify the problem. If you have things like this for a lot, that means the Teamsters are either not getting the goods there on time, which I highly doubt that, or they're just not producing a lot. You can see here, like, this has 41 sugar, so they just picked that up a little bit ago. 480 sugar, it's pretty good. I mean, they probably should have a pickup there. 175 sugar. Whoops. Build a logging camp. Okay, I'll take this, even though I have 4 logging camps already and definitely don't need another one. What you can do is either demolish a logging camp and rebuild it real quickly, or you can just do something like this. Just quick build it.
Well, you did the right thing.
Extend your mandate. Demolish it. What I am going to do, because my sugar's having problems, is I'm going to put another sugar plantation in. It's at 97 efficiency. That's good enough. Well, actually, would this give me more? Yeah, that's the problem. The problem is I'm not in range of a lot of these multicultural buildings. Whatever. I'm just going to put it here. In fact, I'm going to build 2. I'm going to go overboard on sugar. I don't necessarily recommend this unless you have the population limit for it. Let's actually check that. Yeah, so see, I'm like screwing up. So I have 1 unemployed citizen. That's it. And vacant jobs, I have 71. So we don't have enough people. We just straight up don't have enough people. So I'm sending them on rescue missions. They gotta go get people. And I have to have people coming in whenever possible. Whenever they give me a job to do, like the revolutionaries building a circus and get 10 revolutionary immigrants for it, I'm doing it. Before I do it, though. And see, we built like a bunch of housing and we're up to 87% now, just like that. It's not that hard to please your people. From what I've heard on any difficulty setting, it's really not that hard to please your people. But you have to know what order to do it in. If you build just a bunch of housing and you're down to $30,000, then you don't have enough money to make the industry you need to replace that income. Research complete. Okay, so they just researched the Employee of the Month edict. This is an interesting dilemma for me. Whoa. This is kind of wigging out. I'm actually going to switch controllers real quick, because this one's wigging out. It's probably running out of battery. Hold on. Okay, sorry about that. Yeah, so if I make this multi, it's not going to do anything. I'm going to keep this as monoculture because it's not going to do anything to help multiculture. They're too far away from these to have it have an effect. So I was talking about doing Employee of the Month. I usually would always do this, but the problem is, like, even when they're not working double shifts, we don't have enough stuff for them. So I don't know if I want to do Employee of the Month yet. I know I love that edict, and I'm gonna do it, but they don't have enough supplies at the moment to work double shift. And then what I imagine is because I messed up on my citizens right now, we're just not getting the supplies that we need. See, 7 people aren't in one sugar plantation, so that's something that, like, we just can't have. We need these all running at full efficiency. So we're going to have to slow down. I'm going to speed up the game speed a little bit so that we can get that moving. Every once in a while, at least. So I have to buy the blueprint for that. I'm going to do that because I want a circus. Grocery's going to be 2, that's going to be 3. I think that's right. Sorry, I'm just trying to plan this out correctly. So it'll go there. I guess we can build this too. Let's just build this little strip out. And then circus will go here. Might as well just finish this little section of the strip. By the way, this is why I like to face the tavern this way, and this is why I like to have that little park area in front of the tavern, because the grocery store, if you place it like this, has a bunch of seating also, and so it looks like one big courtyard of, like, seating right here. Just a little thing I do. I'm very much about aesthetics. Like, I love this game not only for the building, but for, like, building a society that looks good and functions well. Yeah, I'd build you another cattle ranch, bro, but I don't have the people. Maybe we can change one of these to cattle. What does cattle look like there? Yeah, let's change a sheep. Wool and milk's not really that big a deal right now, so... And that's annoying. When you change a crop, it defaults everything back. So I needed to put pasture prohibition back on. I needed to default their budget back to top. Okay, here we go. Manure fertilizer. So this one's actually reaching that one plantation. See how it's highlighted in blue? So boom, we can actually use that now. I'm not arresting revolutionaries, dude. I won't do it. So now this cocoa's at 145% because they're doing so well at it. Let's check our trade rates, by the way. Oh boy. We need to do something with that. So that's see, this is a big deal. Your trade routes like disappear. You need to make sure you're always on your trade routes so that you've got a lot of stuff going out. Corn or fish? Fish is better. Is there anything else? Not really. So I'll do fish. Fish are going to go out pretty slow because I only have one fisherman's wharf and they're allowing local consumption. So they're allowing people to come here and get fish, and now that I'm building a grocery store, the grocery store is going to supply fish and shellfish. So I'm not going to have much going out. I'm okay with that. Just because it keeps your people happy to have a little bit of diversity. So if you got fish, pineapples, bananas, corn, all these different things coming in, even a little bit of rum will reach the grocery store. Not a lot, but a little. It keeps them really happy. They're at 89%. I mean, they're doing pretty good. Pull another road for them. Nope. Oh, God, I hate that. So another like little stupid thing about a road. See, it will only attach. It like sticks. So what I do is I go up to there. And then if you want to stick, then you'll have to like figure it out, bud. But I don't really need this road to attach because this road's just for this stuff anyway, so. Sometimes that works, sometimes it doesn't. So what are our raiders doing? They are departing. So a rescue was just complete. Whoops. There's the pirate ship. And there's actually like little pirates on it. It's pretty cool. The details are just awesome. Okay, so they already did a rescue. When they do a rescue, you usually get like 20 citizens. So, yeah, I mean, like, it went down a tiny bit. And the other big problem with this is this. They go for the good jobs first, and then they ditch the jobs that they don't find very attractive. Well, the jobs they don't find very attractive are plantations and fishermen's wharfs. Those are the most unattractive jobs at the start, unless you're mining. Mining is the most unattractive job to people for some reason. Logging camps aren't very attractive to people. Like, all this stuff is just not a very attractive job to people. So we're losing a lot of industry. Now, I told you that people do this sometimes, hire foreign workers. I think we're so in the ditch right now. Great, I'll take 10 revolutionaries. If I had look how many people are not working. If I had like 50 people not working, I'd say that's one thing. But we have too many people not working. And it is going to affect us to a point where it could crash us. Even with 174,000 right now, man, you got to be careful about that stuff. Now, the more foreign workers you hire, the more expensive they're becoming. See, they started at 75. Now they're up to 150 already for hiring foreign workers. I don't plan to do this more than once. I'm going to do this one time and one time only. They're up to 203. And this should get us back on track for now. An easier way to do this, they'll tell you, is to go here, go to vacant jobs, which is already down to 19 from 80 because I'm filling them. The grocery and the circus will get people. They just don't have them now because I haven't upped their budget. Fisherman's Wharf needs people. So I'm going to let the rest do its thing. We're going to up the budget so the efficiency's good and they don't stay here too long. We're going to go into that in a second, into churches, because there's something interesting about churches. We're going to up the budget here. That should increase people. Well, we'll add one more employee there, just for giggles. Okay, churches, chapels. Chapels in colonial times not only provide faith, which is good. You want these on efficiency too, so they don't stay at the church too long. But the work mode. So this is the only way to increase healthcare. Oops. Fulfill trade route, except if we go to the almanac and we go to see, healthcare is by far our lowest thing. Now, faith is not great, fun's not great, housing's not great, but healthcare is bad, and there's nothing you can do to improve it. You don't have hospitals. So the only thing that you can do is change traditional sermon to help first, preach later. The service quality is decreased by 10, whatever. If visitors have their healthcare happiness lower than 25, so if they're getting real sick, they can receive healthcare service with a quality of 25. Not great, but it's something. So I would absolutely, on all of your chapels, do help first, preach later. It's not great, but this is the only way you're going to be able to do any type of healthcare in the colonial era. That should take it up to, honestly, like from 19 to maybe 21 or 22. So it doesn't do a lot. And it depends on how many chapels you have running that work mode. But all in all, it's what you've got in this time period. So we'll sort of focus on that when we get into the World Wars time. What was the last route? Shellfish? I'm not doing that again. Corn. We could do corn. Rubber we don't have. Sugar we're making to rum. Tobacco we already have a route for. You don't want to double up on routes. It's just waste. They're just going to give all of the supplies to one route and none of the supplies to another route, so it's just wasting the route. I'm going to do 4,500 corn because I don't want to give up all my corn. I want it to have for local consumption a little bit. At this point, with $163,000, I'm just going to open up all the trade routes. It just gives you an opportunity to get more money, so why not? Leather, I could export to the smugglers. Now, smuggler trade routes I don't really do. But if you did, and you, like, you know, if I didn't have a leather route and I really wanted one, you could smuggle to the smugglers exporting too. But the problem is, it decreases your relationship with the crown. Right on signing this, it's minus 10 to the crown. And they don't give you good prices. See how the crown gives you plus 20? I don't have relations with smugglers. You can't have relations with smugglers. So it's plus 5% instead of 20. I'm just not really interested usually in smuggler routes, so I would ignore them. It's a good way to get you in trouble with the crown, which you don't want to be. If you do, they'll attack you, your mandate can run out, there's like not much good that can happen. Okay, so how many jobs? Unemployed 6, vacant 3. That's perfect. We're back on track. So we've got our plantations working again, which means our rum's going to be working again. Hopefully. Our tannery now has 2 cattle ranches providing for it. And then we've got the 2 crocodile ranches that already have leather. So we are looking good there. Maybe do... Teamsters offices, so we have 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. Military stuff, dungeons, guard towers, forts. I don't really build that stuff unless they ask me to, because dungeon is an outdated prison. So as soon as a prison is available, you're just going to have to build a prison, and then you're going to have a prison and a dungeon. I don't like that. The fort is huge. And again, it's replaced by the barracks in World War's time. So why pay for a fort that's gigantic when I can just have a barracks that's a lot better and smaller? Guard towers, if you want, you can do these. I actually will do one. All I do is put them near docks. See how mostly everything's in... I mean, during the ranches there's a little more crime. But it's mostly in yellow, but then when you get to the docks, it's always in red. And that's because... Oh, let me put it there. That's because there's just always more crime at the docks. So, to decrease that and watch them a little more, I build a guard tower at each dock. We have a chapel and a grocery. Let's take a look. Whoops! I accidentally accepted that. Complete the loot raid. I'm actually not going to do that because I need those guys. I know we've caught up in population, but now I'm worrying about it. So I need these guys constantly rescuing people so we keep our population up. Let's see what else we need to build here before we start moving on. Theater and opera house. Opera house I don't build till later because it's preferred by cultural tourists and visitors must be rich or better. I don't have that many rich people right now on the island, so that's sort of a waste at this point. Visitors must be well off, so you can build a little theater, and I'll probably do that in a little bit. Newspaper, yep. So, my revolutionaries, 52 out of 60. And you can see, like, my revolutionaries are not getting to 60 of 60. They're staying right around, like, 48 to 52. Right around that area. So, if I want them to get up to 60, you have to start helping the revolutionaries. That means... It means a lot. It means not helping the crown. It means building buildings that only revolutionaries would like military buildings, which I don't want to build. Or, you can do it this way, which is to build a newspaper. I'll show you what newspapers do, but it's a very easy way if you've got one or two to get slow revolutionary support until you can declare independence. Once I'm up to 60, I can declare my independence from the crown, we become our own nation, and we move into a different era, the World Wars era. And that is a totally different ballgame with a lot of different stuff. Buildings, edicts, things to research, industries. Every era is different. And so the goal right now is to get to 60 revolutionary support so that I can declare independence. Just nothing finished. And am I not exporting the stuff I need to not be exporting? Yeah, hides, logs, sure. So not really anything here. Do I have a cocoa root right now? I already have a cocoa root. I already have a coffee root. I already have a leather root. I don't want to give up my logs. I've got a rum root. I don't want to give up my sugar, and I've got a tobacco root. So, can't do anything. So I'm going to go into options and pause during opened pop-ups. I'm going to turn that off. That'll help it go a little bit faster because see now that it's popped up. No? I'm used to playing multiplayer games where no matter what. Pause during construction. Paused. Oh, I didn't save it. Still doesn't. Yeah, there we go. So now it's still, the game's still running while I'm in these menus. It'll help it go along a lot faster and chug it. Especially since I play on such a slow difficulty. Okay. So we have pretty much everything we want in this era. We'll build the newspaper, we'll get our approval rating going up, and then we'll declare independence shortly. So I'm going to build the theater, not in the strip mall, because it can't fit there. I'm going to build the theater on the strip, but still... Yeah, that's the front. But still close to housing. So they can go here and go like on the mall, the like high-end mall, or they can just go on to the strip mall. Again, it's really all about efficiency. It's about making sure people spend as much time at work and as little time doing what they like, social activities and enjoyable activities as possible. I want them to get the most enjoyment out of it in the least amount of time. Research is going okay. We can do... let's see. Let's do... oh, we're already doing child allowances. Alright, we'll just research a bunch of stuff we don't really need. So, this got different work modes that you can do it to, because we researched different work modes for the library, so now you can change its work mode. These aren't grayed out anymore. These are cool, but they're not cool if you want to do research. The efficiency is decreased by 25%, but this building, while it's operational, each high school and college is increased by 10% on medium budget. Since mine's on full budget for everything, it would increase it by 30%. So if you need education quickly, then you might want to have these guys stop researching so much and start focusing on helping the high school and college. You can also have uncensored portfolio, which it just emits 15 liberty. The knowledge is reduced significantly, but it generates liberty for you. And liberty, I've found, is one of the harder things to come by early. You guys on your way to this thing, or? No? Everybody's off work? Whatever. Yeah, other than that, I mean, I'm not going to build mansions yet. I think that's getting a little ahead of ourselves. We could do mining now, actually. So here's the deal. Let's go to the trade routes.
I ask myself, Governor, do the
raid.
ends justify the
I
means?
can't. I need to get more people in. Oh. Oh, never mind. I'm an idiot. Okay. Mining. So let's go to the trade window and I'll show you hopefully what I'm talking about. No, of course they're not going to show me. Usually, oh, this is just raw resources. All trade goods. So usually they still don't have it, but there's coal, iron, and gold. Those are the three resources that you can collect in the colonial era that they have trade routes for. Coal, iron, gold. Okay, now coal and iron are kind of important in later eras. They help power your power facilities. They can be combined with iron to create steel. So iron and coal are really better, in my opinion, for later periods of time. World wars and on. For colonial, I think the best thing you can do is gold. You can just get gold right away. It's not super important in later eras, so if they run out of gold nuggets, which 30,000, it would be a while before they ran out. But here's the other thing. You can actually do two on one place. So you can do one here and one here. They'll both go from the same source, but that's okay. Like, there's plenty to go around. And now you've got two gold mines working instead of one right at that position. So for mining, I would say in the colonial era at least, do gold or do nothing. So this is what you want to do. Here's the newspaper, and it's now open. We'll up the budget so it increases its efficiency. Open mind is the standard default, which just, I think, increases liberty. I'm not really even sure what open mind does. You can do penny saver. You earn $5 for each citizen living in the vicinity of the newspaper every time they rest, which is kind of cool. It doesn't give you a lot, but it gives you a little bit of income going forth. But for the colonial time, the best thing you can do is the independent. Citizens living in the vicinity have 25% chance to shift their political view towards the revolutionaries every time they rest. So if you put that on, you're slowly just going to get that bottom right revolutionaries. It says 52 of 60. That's just going to slowly go up, 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 up until you've got 60 of 60. So that's the best and easiest way. We'll put it on there right now. It's the easiest way to get support to declare independence. So I think for now we're going to end this video here. I'm not sure how long we've been going, but probably for over an hour at least. So we've got established a good economy that is going to get stronger and stronger, and we're going to be able to use it to go into the world wars and be successful there. Setting yourself up right from the get-go is majorly important. So make sure that you guys are doing that. Links I will give you. Just completed another trigger. Leather. I don't have leather to give you anymore. Yes. Fish you already got.
Corruption
Okay.
is so rife government.
Well,
I
you
will
did the
produce
right
fish.
thing.
So we're going to end it here, and we will pick it back up when we're finishing up with this and heading into the World Wars era. And I'll probably make another video later today on that, so stay tuned, and we will see you next time.